So which sugar is present in fruits? Aditya Sankhe. Aditya, let's, okay. Aryan Singh, Girish. Okay, never mind. So, yeah, tell me, Nikita, which sugar is present in fruits?
Fructose.
Yeah. Then, what is the concentration of glucose in a human blood? Yes, Sharon.
Glucose and fructose.
Yeah, glucose and fructose. Very good. So, glucose is aldose and fructose is what?
Keto.
Yeah, keto. So there are two different molecules. So structure wise also they are different. Okay, so that's why what happens in case of sucrose, उसका जो one carbonyl carbon है from the like the anomeric carbon of glucose and the anomeric carbon of fructose, दोनों भी एक साथ आते हैं and they form a glycosidic bond. So because of this, what happens? There is no free aldehyde or a ketone group available, and that's why sucrose is a non-reducing sugar. If you remember, in a case of monosaccharides, I had mentioned that all the monosaccharides are a reducing sugars. But in case of sucrose, which is a special case now, it is not a reducing sugar because it lacks the free aldehyde or a ketone group. Whereas there are other examples like lactose and maltose, in which case lactose and maltose both are basically aldose, like they are both are made up of aldose basically, which is mainly glucose or a galactose kind of things. And both of them are reducing sugar because they have a free aldehyde or a ketone group. Okay, like they have a free group or a free anomeric carbon which can be like interacting with the other molecules. So other reaction continue कर सकता है, and that's why they call as a reducing sugar. Okay. In case of galactose, if you remember, मैंने बोला था there are two forms of galactose also, alpha and beta form. In a similar way, the lactose also can exist in a two forms, like basically a normal alpha and the other one is a beta, which is made up of from a beta galactose and a beta glucose. Okay. Now I understand that you might have got confused between the reducing क्या होता है and non-reducing क्या होता है. So I will discuss that with you. Just yeah. So I hope all of you can see the structures. I understand कि किसी कोई भी स्ट्रक्चर तुम्हारे बुक में दिया नहीं है. So don't stress about कि स्ट्रक्चर कि मुझे स्ट्रक्चर याद रखना पड़ेगा या नहीं पड़ेगा. It's not given in your book and it's not needed for you to rectify or to मतलब उसको memorize करने की जरूरत नहीं है. But you need to understand. अगर एक बार समझ गए तो तुम लोग उसको भी याद रख सकते हो. It's always good to keep in mind all these things, especially for NEET students. Okay. So if you look at now sucrose का structure, I hope you all can see there are two molecules, एक glucose है, एक fructose है, and if we all know in case of glucose, this is the anomeric carbon. यहाँ पे H and OH होता है, यहाँ पे, and in case of fructose, the namings are from here. So you can see first carbon is like CH2OH. However, it's the second carbon which is the anomeric carbon in case of fructose. Okay, so what happens when this particular first carbon of glucose and the second carbon of fructose, they react, they form a typical glycosidic bond. So this typical bond is called as a glycosidic bond. Okay, and there is a particular special way in which we actually name this typical glycosidic bond. Okay, glycosidic is a general name, but अभी वो glycosidic bond कौन से दो molecules के बीच में है? Based on that, we actually name it. So if you can see here, it's written, GLC, that's the glucose, which is alpha glucose. So GLC alpha 1 to 2 beta fructose. मतलब यहाँ पे 1 indicates the first carbon of first carbon of the glucose, which is aldose. Yeah, and the 2 indicates the second carbon of the fructose, which is again anomeric carbon. Just give me a minute, okay? Yeah, sorry for that. So you can see, so no anomeric carbon is basically, or let's say that a typical carbonyl carbon is available now for interaction. So that's why sucrose is not a reducing sugar. But in this case, if you see, यहाँ पे उसके anomeric carbon यहाँ पे है, इसके ऊपर यहाँ पे H OH. Same way, इसका जो second anomeric carbon है, second molecule का, that is here. So even though the fourth carbon and the first carbon of these two molecules are interacting, इसका जो first carbon है, that is available now, and it can form a further bonding and all. So that is possible. That's why maltose is a reducing sugar. In case of, same happen in case of lactose. You can see यहाँ पे first carbon है glucose का, यहाँ पे fourth carbon है second galactose का, and that's how they are interacting and forming a glycosidic bond. However, इनका जो first carbon का जो OH molecule है and the H molecule that are free now to interact with the next molecules, and that's why they are called as reducing sugar. So I hope you understand the meaning between the reducing and the non-reducing sugar. So if you are still having any doubts, we can discuss it. Just give me a minute. There is some kind of interactions between. Yeah. So I hope you understood what is the reducing and the non-reducing sugar. Okay. Now coming back to the remaining part of disaccharides. So let's come to the properties now. So if you remember, in case of monosaccharides, we had discussed that monosaccharides are soluble in water, they are crystalline, they are sweet in taste. In a similar way, even disaccharides are soluble in water, they are also sweet in taste, but then they are bigger than the monosaccharides, and that's why they cannot be easily passed through the cell membrane via diffusion, just the way glucose can pass or any other monosaccharide can pass. The disaccharides cannot pass easily because difference, size wise there is a difference. Okay, so what to do? Because हम लोग को तो चाहिए, it's not like कि हमें हमेशा ही ग्लूकोज ही मिलेगा या फिर कोई मोनोसैकेराइड ही मिलेगा the source of energy. We can always get some other form of energy, like हम लोग milk पीते हैं which contains lactose, which is again a disaccharide. So it's not like that ना कि अभी बॉडी बोलेगा कि ये lactose है, I cannot take such a big molecule, so let it go as a. So our body is very smart. So what it does, it will break down the lactose into the simpler ones. Okay, that is the glucose and galactose, and that's how the monosaccharides will then pass into the blood and to the cells, basically pass to the cells, and it will be then further metabolized. So that's how the body functions when it is having different molecules than the monosaccharides. Okay, now there are two important reactions which happens. Basically, synthesis of disaccharide, which happens via the condensation reaction. So this is a typical condensation reaction. So these are the two glucose molecules which are forming the glycosidic linkage or a glycosidic bond. So यहाँ पे कैसा था, यहाँ पे this is the first carbon, sorry, yeah, you can see the cursor. So यहाँ पे first carbon है, यहाँ पे H ऊपर OH नीचे. So this OH and same thing, यहाँ पे जो इसका fourth carbon है, H ऊपर OH नीचे. So this OH and this OH, now they will interact and they will release a H2O molecule, that is a water molecule, or the O बचेगा, that will be a part of this typical glycosidic bond. Okay, so glycosidic bond is a specialized bond which connects the two sugar molecules for formation of disaccharides, oligosaccharides, or a polysaccharides. Okay, so this is from a synthesis point of view. But what happens if I want to break down this particular disaccharides? So whenever a disaccharide is broken down, basically it will go under reaction known as hydrolysis. Okay, hydrolysis means breaking down using the water molecule. So water molecule will be added into disaccharide, and then it will break down the disaccharide into two molecules of monosaccharides. So these are the two important reactions you need to keep in mind. जब भी synthesize करना है, it will be condensation reaction. Whenever it needs to break down, it will undergo hydrolysis reactions. Okay, so that's about the synthesis and breaking down of disaccharides. Not only disaccharides, it is common even for the other kind of molecules like oligosaccharides and the polysaccharides, but they have given under the group of disaccharides, so that's why I'm explaining you it right now. But the same kind of reaction will be take place whenever there is a synthesis of or a breaking down of oligosaccharides or a polysaccharides. Okay, So whenever this kind of molecules are synthesized by the cell, or the cell gets such kind of molecule, either the cell will use it up quickly, मतलब वो उसको जरूरत पड़ेगी तो वो खा लेगा या फिर utilize कर लेगा, metabolize कर लेगा, and it will get a energy out of it. However, it's not like कि हमें हमेशा ही like उसको मेटाबोलाइज करने की जरूरत पड़ेगी. तो समटाइम्स वी माइट गेट एक्सेस अमाउंट ऑफ शुगर, तो हम लोग को इतना शुगर की जरूरत नहीं पड़ेगी. Then what will the body do? The body will utilize the required amount. However, the remaining amount, which is now extra, which is not required immediately, will get stored in some or other form, okay, in a body. And whenever the body requires such kind of energy, और हमारे पास अभी शुगर या फिर कोई भी energy source available नहीं रहेगा, this stored form of sugars will be then broken down and utilized to get an energy, okay. So the same thing is again mentioned over here about the condensation reaction. And then, as I mentioned, these molecules are too big even to escape from the cell. So the taking up and throwing out kind of process is very difficult for any kind of disaccharides or a polysaccharide because उनका size बड़ा होता है. Okay, so that's the basic information about disaccharides. So if you are having any kind of doubts or something you did not understand about disaccharides, please let me know. Nothing. So you are understanding everything. That's good. Now going towards the next part of a chapter, that is a polysaccharides. It's the last part of a last type of a carbohydrate. So we all know there are three important types which are given: monosaccharides, disaccharides, and a polysaccharides. Now we are at the last thing, that is a polysaccharides. Okay, the name itself, polysaccharides, मतलब multiple units are there. It is a polymer kind of structure which is available in a nature. Okay, and how it is synthesized? When multiple monosaccharides are undergoing a condensation reaction, in which there are different units are added one after another. मतलब it's not like a small structure. There are multiple, sometimes 50, sometimes 100, and sometimes then more than that. Such single units of sugar are added up to form a very large shape, large size polymer, which is known as a polysaccharide. Okay, and this particular reaction by which this particular polymer or polysaccharide is synthesized is known as polymerization. Okay, the way similar, जैसे कि हमने देखा कि disaccharides can be broken down, in a similar way even the polysaccharides are broken down by a process of hydrolysis into monosaccharides and disaccharides. So it's not like कि always after breaking down the polysaccharide हम लोग को simple monosaccharides से मिलेंगे. Yeah, they will produce a monosaccharides, but there will be always some partially broken down molecules and all. So the process by which polysaccharides are broken down, it's hydrolysis, but it is kind of a bit complex or a tedious process than a simple disaccharides. Disaccharides का हमें पता है कि एक बार ब्रेक किया तो दो ही मॉलिक्यूल्स मिलने वाले हैं. But just because polysaccharides are very large, you cannot be very sure about कि हाँ अगर मैंने polysaccharides को break down किया तो सबके सब जो products मिलेंगे मुझे after breaking down, all of them will be monosaccharides. It can be a combination. It can be monosaccharides, obviously it will be there, but there will be some other molecules also, partially cleaved molecules or some kind of disaccharides and all, which you will need to process further to get a final concentration of a monosaccharides only. Okay, now this typical polysaccharides, there are multiple types of polysaccharides which they have not given in detail in your book. However, there is one chart which we had discussed very briefly in a very beginning at before starting the carbohydrate. So we will discuss that table or that chart again. So we will get more idea about the different types of polysaccharides. But ये जो polysaccharides say, as I mentioned, there are different types. The properties of this particular polysaccharide, which makes them different or unique from each other, depends on different factors. Like it can be a length, मतलब वो कितना बड़ा है. It can be branching also. So some polysaccharides are linear, some polysaccharides are branched. So it's not like with the size or with this particular branching, there is always a difference in a properties. Even some polysaccharides show kind of coiling structure or kind of folding structure among themselves, which can be like which will give its typical structure also and typical properties also. So the arrangement of the molecules play a very important role in any kind of polymer. Okay, so that also is applicable for a polysaccharides. The very first polysaccharide which we are discussing today is a starch. Now starch, I think सब लोग को पता है starch. कहाँ पे where have you heard the word starch? किसने?
Carbohydrate.
Yeah, obviously. Now हम लोग carbohydrates पढ़ रहे हैं तो carbohydrate ही है, that is clear.
Potato.
Yeah, potato.
Rice.
Rice, yes.
Chapati.
Chapati, yeah.
Wheat.
Yes. So all the things which you have just enlisted, potato se leke wheat and the rice and all, what are these? These are all a plants. So basically starch is a major source of storage material in case of plants. So if plants को कुछ energy store करना है, it will be in a form of potato, like it will be in a form of the starch. That's just the way it is in the case of potato. Okay, so you have very rightly said the good example, potato. It is a very good source of starch, and we actually use the starch from the potato for multiple purposes. So it is having a very good industrial value, I can say. Okay, so there are also some kind of bacteria and the microorganisms which can also produce or which can also store their material in a form of starch, but then human beings or any kind of animals cannot literally or really store starch, or cannot have, they do not have any kind of starch molecules or starch composed molecule in our body. So starch is not really a animal kind of material, but it is mainly present in the microorganisms and plants. So just a minute. Yeah, so starch is basically, as I mentioned, stored food in a case of plants, and it exists in a two form basically. So when we say starch, even though I say it is a one molecule, but then it is generally having a two forms. The two forms are known as amylose and amylopectin. Okay. Now, what is the basic difference? So before going to the differences, I think we should know what are the similarities, right? So amylose and amylopectin both are made up of alpha glucose. So what is the difference in alpha and beta glucose? Can you tell me now?
Yes sir.
Yeah.
अल्फा में जो OH होते हैं ना, हाइड्रोक्सिल ग्रुप जो डाउनवर्ड साइड अटैच होता है, और बीटा में वो अपर साइड में अटैच होता है.
I got your point. But on which carbon?
At the one मतलब जहाँ से
anomeric carbon.
Anomeric carbon, yes.
Yes. So if you are right, it's the first carbon which is known as the anomeric carbon.
Yes, sir.
But the carbonyl carbon. Okay. So you are correct. So that's how. But then in this case, both amylose and the amylopectin are composed of the alpha glucose. Okay. And this, so now if you see the starch ka jo existence in nature, amylose is very abundant. So about 85% of our starch is in the form of amylose. However, only 15 to 20% is in the form of amylopectin. Okay. Now we know the similarity, that is it is made up of glucose, or to be more precise, alpha glucose. Now what are the differences? So when we see amylose, it is a unbranched polymer. Unbranched matlab it is a linear. There is no branching. There is no any kind of typical क्या बोल सकते हो उसको, kind of like any kind of other molecules which are attaching from the other side. ऐसा कुछ नहीं. It is a simple linear molecule for the amylose, which is the most abundant form of starch, and it is having a typical colloidal structure, which forms it is having a typical helical structure. Do you know helix? Helix क्या होता है पता किसी को? Helical structure. Any idea?
No sir.
Yeah, no sir. तो तुम लोगों ने कभी वो पुराना वाला अपना टेलीफोन लेकर रहेगा ना, इवन नाउ पीपल हैव इट एट होम एज अ इंटरकॉम एंड ऑल, जिसका वो वायर रहता है ना, ऐसा कॉइल्ड वायर. यस. Yeah, that is a typical helical structure. That is a helical structure. So this
solenoid.
Not really a solenoid. Okay, solenoid is something different. Helical is something different. Okay, helical is like you will get to know about helical in a more detail आफ्टर सम टाइम लाइक क्या बोल सकता हूँ उसको, तुमने डीएनए का स्ट्रक्चर देखा है? लाइक आई नो डीएनए इज समथिंग न्यू, बट
yes,
एटलीस्ट
Yes.
डायग्राम देखा होगा सबने, राइट?
nucleotide, yes,
या द टिपिकल डीएनए का जो स्ट्रक्चर दैट इज अ टिपिकल हेलिक्स स्ट्रक्चर. नाउ डायग्राम में हम लोग ड्रॉ करते हैं उसके जो टू स्ट्रैंड जो किसी के साथ अटैच होते हैं, दैट इज, बट देन इट इज टिपिकल. अगर हम लोग 3D में उसको देखेंगे इन अ 3 डायमेंशनल स्ट्रक्चर, it is a helical structure. I will try to get some pictures in the next lecture so that it will be more clear. But I hope you understood what do I mean by helical, like what I'm trying to say by a helical structure. Now, if you go by chemical properties, now it forms a kind of colloidal suspension in a hot water. Now I don't know why they have mentioned this thing, but then colloidal suspension, matlab, what do you mean by colloidal suspension? Anyone? Any idea colloidal suspension? Any example if you could give me?
Solid particles are immersed in liquid.
Yes. So can I say अगर मैंने salt को पानी में डाल दिया तो it will be colloidal structure, colloidal suspension. Yes, Sharon?
Emulsifiers होता है.
Emulsify मतलब क्या होता है फिर?
Softness.
Softener क्या होता है? I'm just trying to make you understand. I don't know. You're giving very good answers. That's why I'm asking you a few more questions. So very simple. I don't want to listen anything about the softener or emulsifier. Just tell me one thing. अगर मैंने salt को पानी में डाला तो मैं उसको colloidal suspension बोल सकता हूँ क्या? या फिर let's say salt is very small particles. Let's come towards the sugar. तो अगर मेरे पास sugar है और मैंने sugar को डाल दिया पानी में, so can I call it as a colloidal suspension? Yes or no? What do you think? No, it's okay. If you are not knowing, that's absolutely fine. I'm just trying to make you understand. Just like bola just now, the solid particles are immersed in a liquid. I'm just asking you based on that. Don't get demotivated. Okay, I'm just trying to make you understand something. So, what do you think, Karen? Yes, no?
No sir.
Yeah. Why? Because अगर मैंने शुगर को डाल दिया तो वो डिसॉल्व हो जाएगा, राइट?
रहना चाहिए दो.
हाँ, तो अगर मैंने सैंड को डाला पानी में, so will it be called as a colloidal suspension?
No.
No.
yes,
Again, then when
yes,
will we
sir,
call
yes.
it colloidal suspension? What kind of example you can give me now? Just give me one simple example. In the next class, Sharon, can you tell me one example for colloidal suspension?
Foam.
Foam, okay, or simple one, something like very simple, just for a class में समझ जाए. It's okay. You just take time. Nothing. No guys. No. Sorry. Your voice is breaking.
Rubber.
Rubber, okay. Okay. So don't worry. We will discuss about it again. So for now, I want to tell you that it is something he has very correctly said. The solids are immersed in a liquid and they are not really मतलब वो सब uniform solution नहीं बनाया था. You can actually see two different forms. Okay, you can see liquid, you can see solid. उसमें. So it is not forming a uniform solution. Just the way generally we get in a case of salt in a water or liquid sugar in a water. वो फटाक से soluble होता है तो dissolve हो जाता है. But no, that is not something happens in a case of starch or let's say amylose. Okay. However, though they have mentioned that it forms a colloidal suspension, but if you go at a very high level of temperature, some kind of dissolve, like solubility will observe, but still it is not that much. Okay, because they have mentioned it's not, but then अगर मैं तुम लोग को reality बताऊँ in case of lab, yeah, normal water में starch will not get dissolved, it will be kind of colloidal suspension. But अगर तुम उसको हम थोड़ा hit किया in a oven or something at in a microwave basically, so it does get dissolved basically and it will give you a clear solution. But अभी हम लोग को experimental नहीं देखना है, theoretical देखना है. So what we will say, it forms a colloidal suspension in hot water. So these are two important points you need to keep in mind whenever you discuss about the amylose. कि वो unbranched होता है, or you can say it is a linear polymer, or it forms a kind of colloidal suspension in a hot water. The next point comes about the amylopectin. It is something completely opposite to the what we know about amylose. So अगर मैं बोल रहा हूँ amylose is an unbranched, then amylopectin is a branch. Okay, and the branching is like alpha 1 to 6 branching. Now I don't want to literally go in a chemistry, but if some of you अगर तुम लोग जब पढ़ रहे हो and if you are coming across some kind of chemistry and if you feel that हाँ मुझे पता करना है और I need more information about such kind of chemistry, you can always approach me. I will be happy to tell you in more detail about the chemistry part, basically kind of bonds which happens in a molecules and all. But at this stage, I'm not really going into that much depth for now, okay? But you need to keep in mind that amylopectin is having the branch polymers kind of structure and it is completely insoluble. So as मैंने बोला कि amylose is kind of soluble, थोड़ा बहुत हो जाता है बाद में अगर hit किया तो, but amylopectin is not really soluble in a water. So it is completely insoluble water. So these are the structures. So if you can look at the diagram carefully, the very first line is that is a amylose. So you can see yeah, this is the alpha glucose and this is a this can if you can see this is the way we represent the polymer. So एक molecule इसका जो monomer है क्या है इसका monomer alpha glucose है. तो उसको हम लोग ऐसे square bracket में डालते हैं and then we put the N. The N indicates the number of units which are present. तो अगर मेरे पास 50 units रहेंगे sugar के let's say in amylose, then I will just put 50 over the N. यहाँ पे N के जगह. That's how we generally represent the polymer. Not only the carbohydrates, but any kind of polymer you will study in a further chemistry part and all. That's the way we generally represent the polymer. So you can see very clearly there is no branching at all. ये ऐसे इस एक के बाद एक add हो जाएगा and that will form a amylose which contains alpha 1 to 4 glycosidic bond. Now in the case of amylopectin, you can see it has a part of structure which is similar to the amylose. However, after some molecules, it is showing a branching. So इसका जो anomeric carbon था, which is generally free in this case, will form a kind of glycosidic bond with some other molecules, and that will form a branch. So in case of amylopectin, the linear change जो रहता है, that is alpha 1 to 4 glycosidic bond, and the branching is at alpha 1 to 6 glycosidic bond. Now, when I say 1 to 4 or 1 to 6, what do I mean? Can anyone of you can tell me ये 1 to 4 का क्या मतलब होता है? 1 to 6 का क्या मतलब होता है? Yeah, anyone? 1 to 4 मतलब क्या बोल रहा हूँ मैं? Yes, anyone? Even if it's wrong, that's fine.
First में
Yeah, Charan. First में
attached
First and 4. First and 4 attached.
Yes. So both of you are correct. So it indicates the number of carbons जिसके बीच में ये bond हो रहा है. So when I say alpha 1 to 4, the alpha indicates that the type of molecule is alpha form. It is alpha form. And 1 to 4 मतलब it is the carbon number 1 of first molecule and carbon number 4 of a second molecule. Sorry, which is involved in a glycosidic bond. Now that is the kind of bonding in case of the amylose. But in case of amylopectin, I am saying it is alpha 1 to 4 जो कि इसके बीच में रहेगा linear bond like unbranched के बीच में. But whenever there is a branching, this branching will be 1 to 6. So now why 1 to 6? Because first carbon of this molecule, I hope you can see my cursor. Yes, it is visible, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so first molecule of this particular molecule, first carbon of this particular molecule, and 6 of this particular molecule. So you can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the 6. It will get involved in the glycosidic bonding, and that's why it is called as alpha 1 to 6 glycosidic bond. Okay, I hope you understand the meaning because I know it's not given in your textbook, but you might come across such kind of bonding the names whenever you are solving the MCQs for your NET preparation. So this is for extra understanding. Okay, so that's all about the glycol starch. Now let's come to, as I mentioned, starch is a main form of storage material in case of plants. Then what happens in case of animals? Animals मेरे पास तो स्टार्च होता नहीं है, तो वो कैसे स्टोर करेंगे any kind of extra material अगर उनके पास जो रहेगा तो वो क्या करेंगे? So glycogen is kind of the stored material which is generally present in case of animal body, which is mainly present or mainly stored in a liver or a muscles. Okay, so एक बार अगर वो liver and muscle stored हो गए, whenever we require some kind of बोलते हैं ना energy, then your body will start processing out the glycogen. Your body will hydrolyze the glycogen and provide the energy for further. A very good example of this kind of process. मतलब हम सब लोग experience करते हैं, but we never understand कि उसके पीछे इतना सब biology है. Okay, so let's say some of you, let's say अभी Sharon just had a breakfast in the morning और उसने बहुत heavy breakfast किया है and now उसके पास till 4 o'clock he had not eaten anything, let's say. Okay, तो 4 बज गए, ना उसने खाया नहीं है, but now उसने morning में breakfast किया था, now he is feeling hungry. Okay, so a particular point will reach, अगर उसने कुछ खाया ही ना, a particular point will reach when his hunger will be at peak, मतलब उसको बहुत ज्यादा भूख, उसको realize होगा, उसको feel आएगा कि मुझे बहुत भूख लगी है, but still I am not getting anything to eat. Okay, तो भी वो कुछ नहीं, मतलब उसको कुछ खाने को मिल नहीं रहा. So after a particular point he will feel थोड़ा सा relief, मतलब उसको even if he is not eating something he will feel थोड़ा सा relief. It's not like उसको भूख रहेगा ही नहीं, और वैसे उसका भूख रहेगा, but he will get थोड़ा सा relief. Why? Because the body will realize now कि हाँ इसको अभी खाना मिल नहीं रहा है. It means we need to metabolize the stored glycogen in our body, and the body will start breaking down the glycogen, and then that's why you get that relief थोड़ा बहुत sometime. But it's not like he continuously body will keep on breaking down. So you need to eat after some time. So that's how the body works. It will wait कि हम लोग time to time खाना खाते हैं या नहीं खाते. So that's why we need to eat on time. We need to have a proper biological clock. Time to खाओ, time to so and on. Why? Because the body has a particular format. अभी हम लोग का lifestyle is different and we have a different kind of like अपना खुद का ही timing. We generally do not match with the biological clock, but then that's a different scenario. We need to take care of our biology. Okay, so that's how it works. So अगर हमने ज़्यादा टाइम खाना नहीं खाया तो the body will start breaking down the glycogen stored in your liver or in your muscles, and it will provide the required energy for the functionality. Okay, so that's all about the glycogen which they have given. If you see structure wise, it is something related to amylopectin, which is having a branch kind of structure basically, but the very short distance between the branching side chain. The distance is not that much basically, but it is something related to amylopectin only. Okay, so this is a typical structure of a glycogen. It can have a multiple molecules, and then uska synthesis have a different biology, uska breaking down is having a different biology, which is currently not a part of our syllabus. So I hope you understood basically what is glycogen. Then comes the next important polymer known as cellulose. Can you give me one example जहाँ पे cellulose रहता है?
Cell wall in a eukaryotic cell.
Yeah, that is a typical biological example. Yeah, but that's correct. It is present in a cell wall of a eukaryotic cells. But then, can you please be more precise? So, अगर मैं बोलूँगी cell wall of eukaryotic cells, तो क्या human beings का भी जो cell wall है cells का, even that is मेरे पास cellulose? Yeah, निकिता उसका भी?
No.
Yeah.
No sir.
Yeah, so किसका cell wall बना रहता है cellulose से?
Plant cell.
Plant.
Yeah, again, yes. So again, you are correct. So we can say it is present in a cell wall of a eukaryotic animal, which is correct. But then you have to be very precise at this point because eukaryote is a very big kind of बोलते ना एक बड़ा सा रूफ है, उसके अंदर बहुत सारी कैटेगरीज आ जाती हैं. So we have to be very precise. It is the plants in which the cell wall is composed of cellulose. Any other simple examples जो तुम लोग दे सकते हो? Very simple.
Algae.
Yeah. Algae, plants, yeah. Cell wall, that's fine.
Vegetable.
Yeah, vegetables. वो सब मुझे समझ में आ गया. Plants is a source of cellulose. I understand. But very commonly, तुम लोग जो day to day life में तुम्हारा books वगैरह are made up of what? Cellulose. It's paper. What is it? Cellulose. So cellulose is having a very huge demand, basically. Till now, we were completely dependent on a plants for a cellulose. So you must have read some kind of environmental article जहाँ पे लोग अपोज करते हैं कि हाँ go digital जितना possible है, go do not waste paper and all these things. Why? Because plants is a major source. Now we do have some other kind of resources like microorganisms which can produce cellulose. And you can also find, I don't know how many of, it was a very viral video few days back. That one particular, there is a one person in the South India, I don't remember his name, I don't remember his location or wherever, like वो कहाँ पे रहते हैं वो, but then it is from South India. That person was using uh, elephant का जो fickle waste होता है that for making the paper out of it. Why? Because he said कि elephants are herbivores. He is completely dependent on plants and all. So because of that, what happens? The animals का जो elephant का जो fickle matter है that is very much rich in a cellulose-like material and which can be processed. And we all know elephant is a very huge kind of animal. So his fickle matter is also a kind of huge matter, which is not generally used for any other purpose apart from the fertilizers and all, like kind of thing. But then it can also be used in a very good way, and that's how we can reduce the cutting of plants and all. That is a different biological approach. But what I'm trying to convey the importance of the cellulose. You can say now important name for us how it is important because we cannot imagine a life without paper. Even if we can imagine life without paper, we cannot imagine life without trees because a life without trees is like a no life. So it is kind of a serious issue. You will learn about all these things in your 12th standard in the chapter environmental issues and all. But I'm just trying to give you some kind of hints so that you can think about these things. Okay, so that's why the cellulose is an important polymer and it is made up of beta glucose. So if you remember, starch was alpha glucose, glycogen was alpha glucose, but in case of cellulose, it is a beta glucose which is polymerized to form a particular polymer. And this polymer is not really a branch polymer. However, it is a straight or kind of linear type of polymer. Okay, and as you all very correctly said, it is present in the cell walls of a plant cell, and that's why plant is very good source of cellulose. Apart from plants, as I mentioned, there are some other resources also which are available, but they are not in that abundance. Okay, now what are the properties of the cellulose? So these are very tougher. So cellulose मतलब you must have cellulose fibers वगैरह ये सब कहाँ से आता है मतलब even the coconut का जो fibers and all even that is a type of cellulose. So these are very common things and these are very tough. They are like a very good strength. So that's why this particular kind of polymer makes the cell membrane tougher, provide the strength to the cell membrane. Okay, and how this particular cell toughness comes into this particular polymer? Because of the arrangement of the glucose units, which is a typical arrangement of a beta glucoses, and then it also has a it also forms a special kind of bonding, that is the hydrogen bonding within the different molecules. So these are the two important factors, the arrangement and the hydrogen bonding, which gives this the toughness. So if you can see here, even the arrangement is not exactly similar. So एक molecule is HOS वाला यहाँ पे है, एक उल्टा एक ऐसा, मतलब it's kind of different arrangement. Even the you can see the position of glycosidic bond, one down, one up, one down, one up. So this is a special kind of arrangement in a cellulose which makes it a very important kind of polymer and having a wide range of applications all over the world. Okay, so that's all about the cellulose and that's all about the पॉलीसैकेराइड्स और लेट्स से कार्बोहाइड्रेट्स पार्ट. तो अभी हम लोगों ने तीन इंपॉर्टेंट टाइप्स तो पढ़ लिए हैं. वी ऑल अंडरस्टूड व्हाई दे आर देयर, व्हाट आर देयर केमिस्ट्री एंड हाउ इंपॉर्टेंट आर दे. बट लेट्स हैव ओवरऑल सिग्निफिकेंस कि मुझे क्यों चाहिए कार्बोहाइड्रेट्स. अगर मैंने मेरे डाइट से कंप्लीटली कार्ब्स को निकाल ही दिया तो व्हाट इज लाइक व्हाट कैन बी द consequences or what can be the effects I can say which will be also. So very common things, very important thing. It is a source of energy. Okay, because glucose is, as I mentioned, main source of substrate for ATP synthesis. It will go under cellular respiration. It will break down. You will get energy. So energy obtained. To obtain energy, carbohydrates are important. Again, the second kind of carbohydrate, that is the lactose. Again, it is a disaccharide present in a milk. Again, provides energy to us, even to the lactating babies who are like basically fed by the which are sorry fed by the moms. And then polysaccharides, like as we see, we have seen cellulose ho ya starch ho ya glycogen ho. They forms a kind of cellulose and starch forms a structural component. Also, they can be available as this reserved food kind of material, and glycogen is also present in case of animals as a reserve food material. So these are the two important aspects I can say. Basically, energy, structural component, and the reserve food material. So you need to keep in mind these three important points for the significance of carbohydrates. It is a source of energy. It serves as a structural components. Example is cellulose and starch, and it also serves as a reserve food material. Example again is a glycogen or a starch. So is this clear to all of you? Any doubts till now? Yes, no?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So that's all about the carbohydrates part. Now I was discussing about this table, right? So I will again go back, and now I think you will understand the table in a better way. So it talks about the types of carbohydrates or the classification of carbohydrates, and we all know there are three important types of a carbohydrates, right? Monosaccharides, disaccharides, and polysaccharides. Monosaccharides are nothing but the simple sugars, and we all know monosaccharides can be classified into by two important ways. Either it can be based on the number of carbon atoms, and what was the second way?
Functional group.
Yeah, functional group. So
Aldose and ketone.
yeah. So that is a based on the structure functional group. So it is a triose, tetros. So based on the number of carbon atoms,
Carbon atom.
carbon atom triose, tetros, pentose, hexose, and heptose. So if I want to see the example of triose, this is the glyceraldehyde. It is like one of the very smallest kind of monosaccharide. You can see only 3 carbon atoms. Then tetros example is erythrose. Pentose example is a ribose, which is also present in a RNA in a ribose form, and then deoxyribose in the form of DNA. Now, I will tell you what is the difference in a ribose and deoxyribose whenever we will be discussing about the DNA or the nucleic acid part. Okay. Then comes the part hexose, where there are 6 carbons which are present, and the very common examples you all know: glucose hai, fructose hai, galactose hai. So all of them are hexose. And then last one is a heptose, which is a example is a pseudoheptose. Okay, and they can be again classified as a based on a functional group into aldoses and ketoses. Then the second class comes the disaccharides, which contains 2 monosaccharides, and it includes 3 important, which we already had discussed. That is the sugar, which is mainly that is the sucrose, which is mainly known as a cane sugar or a table sugar, which on hydrolysis produces glucose and fructose. Then comes a lactose, which is a typical milk sugar, and on hydrolysis we get glucose and galactose. And then the maltose, which is known as the malt sugar. On hydrolysis we get 2 molecules of glucose. And now let's come towards a polysaccharide, a major family now. So अभी तक मैंने लोगों को बहुत simple words में 3 ही बताए थे: starch, glycogen and cellulose. But polysaccharides is also a very big class, and you can see there are 2 important types of polysaccharides. They are named as homopolysaccharides and heteropolysaccharides. Now, what is homopolysaccharide and what is a heteropolysaccharide? Homopolysaccharide is something जहाँ पे पूरा molecule और पूरा polymer is made up of only one type of monosaccharide. जैसे कि हमने देखा starch में only alpha glucose ही present है. Even though it is brand, it is unbrand, that doesn't matter here. What matters कि वो किससे बना है. तो starch पूरा का पूरा alpha sugar से बना था, glycogen पूरा का पूरा beta glucose से बना था. So it means they are made up of only single type of monosaccharide, and that's why they are called as homopolysaccharides. And examples, as I mentioned, starch, cellulose, glycogen, all of them are homopolysaccharides. Now इसके completely opposite is like something in a heteropolysaccharide, जहाँ पे the polymer is made up of different types of monosaccharides. So they can be made up of 1 or 2 different types of monosaccharides. And the examples are hyaluronic acid, heparin, blood group substances, which mainly include some kind of glycosides. Now, what is glycosides and all that? I don't think you. अभी हम लोग को इसकी करने की जरूरत है. We will talk bit about the glycosides and all in immunology. And then chondroitin sulfate. It is also something which is mainly involved in a cell-to-cell addition kind of molecules. Okay, so we all know cells are generally attached to each other. So all such kind of molecules are generally helps in an attachment. Okay, can you tell me what is sorry, if you remember hyaluronic acid वो कहाँ पे प्रेजेंट होता है?
Lysosomes, extracellular digestion.
Extracellular digestion, yes. So lysosome of what?
Hyaluronidase का.
हाँ, तो lysosome of a sperm basically which contains hyaluronidase. But hyaluronic acid कहाँ पे प्रेजेंट होता है? किस पार्ट में प्रेजेंट होता है? You are very correct, Charan. I am very happy you remember those things. But you are quite थोड़ा सा और याद करो.
Acrosome.
Yeah, acrosome is also part of a sperm जहाँ पे hyaluronidase present होता है, which will be released to break down the hyaluronic acid, which will be present in the outer part of what?
Ovum.
Yeah, ovum. So it is also from the ovum, and you will also find some other places जहाँ पे hyaluronic acid is present. Okay, which is also a polysaccharide. Then heparin is there. Heparin is also a anticoagulant. Do you understand what is anticoagulant?
Yes.
Sorry. Not heparin. It is heparin. I'm very sorry. Heparin is also a kind of yeah, it's correct. It's anticoagulant. So I will talk about heparin also in the next class. I will not go in chemistry part, but what I can do for you all, though it's not given in your textbook, I will just tell you their prime function, कि वो कहाँ पे present होते हैं, and what are their role basically. Okay, so we can just have one table जहाँ पे molecule और उसका function दिया हुआ है. So that we will discuss in the next class. So that's all about the carbohydrates, and if you are having any doubts, you can ask me right now. This table is very important, or a flowchart, whatever you say, it is very important. Anything you want to ask me right now? Okay, if no, then I will stop here. Thank you so much and see you all in next class.